All right, we're at the Microsoft booth here for the After Hours, very sexy After Hours show, and we're here with the very sexy Saints Row 4. Dude, how's things?
Things are going great. It's great to be here at E3 and showing the game that's near final and will be out on August 20th.
Now, Saints Row is a very quiet, sedate, genteel game. It's more like a simulator more than anything else. Now, I mean, that last trailer you guys released, I mean, I always find that question coming up with every Saints Row, how do you guys top yourselves? I mean, do you guys have like a long list of, right, this is how we get on the next level?
Well, after Saints Row the Third, there was a lot of, I remember telling people, like, I don't know how we're going to top this. We've got, a mission on Mars, we've got a helicarrier, we've got zombies, like, where do we go from here? But, everybody took a vacation, we came back, started fresh, and very quickly we came up with, well, we got to let's do superpowers. It's something we've always been talking about, like, wouldn't it be great to, run as fast as a car, or jump over a building, or be able to pick up someone with your mind and throw them across the city? And, things started snowballing from there. Fighting aliens came out of that because we needed an enemy that could, properly fight you. And then being the president just felt like the next logical step from being a celebrity. So it all sort of came together. And, yeah, we definitely have a mentality of like, all right, we did that last time. We got to do that plus one. We got to do better than that this time.
It is very much orchestrated chaos. How do you guys, despite all this, do you have that story arc there to keep people on the critical path?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of, we've got a full story. The game, I think the campaign is longer than Saints Row the Third. There's a ton more open world stuff to do. So we've got the great story arc. We start you off as the president, and I think we end you at a if you'll see the curve, you'll see the arc of where we end you, and I think it's proper for how a Saints Row game would conclude fighting aliens and having come from being the president.
You find, obviously not wanting to talk any spoilers whatsoever, but are you guys sort of making that definite end point because this is effectively the end of the generation?
Yeah, we're definitely considering Saints Row 4 sort of the end of that saga of this character and the Saints as they are. So, if there's any more future Saints Rows, which we always hope there will be, we hope there's fans for future games like that. They will probably continue in a different direction.
Okay, we talk a little bit about the tech behind the game, the engine behind the game. What have you guys been rocking up with?
Well, the main focus, it's mainly the same tech as the third. We've made improvements graphically with the engine, with characters, with how we build assets. The primary improvements, though, have been gameplay. Like it was great for us. On Saints Row the Third, we rebuilt the entire engine, and so that cost us a lot of time. And so we couldn't put as much into the game as we wanted to. So with 4, what we've really brought is like, all right, systems are staying the same. We're going to make improvements, but we're going to add a ton of content. So we've got a lot more content. Adding the superpowers was a huge element. So it's all about gameplay. It's all about adding more stuff for the player to do rather than just spending time on the tech. We wanted it to be in there, in your hands. Like everything is more fun and there's more of it.
Well, how have you implemented superpowers into the game? I mean, Saints Row has always been about the guns, about the fist fights. How do you sort of balance that up with these superheroics?
That was one of the first things we wanted to do, is we wanted superpowers, but we didn't want them to replace or essentially be weapons. So we wanted it to be a mix of, you can throw a power, but then you got to use guns, or you got to, you're going to stomp the ground and then you're going to shoot the guys as they're floating in the air. That sort of a feel to it. So it's a mix of switching between the two because they're both on, your powers are on the right bumper or R1 on the PS3, and then your guns are on R2 or the trigger on the Xbox. And so it creates a really good back and forth between throw a power, shoot an RPG, and do this jump up in the air and then slam down on the ground, and then use your weapons against somebody. So it's all about mixing and matching the two, and then mixing and matching the powers, because those are also quick swappable. So you can use the D-pad to throw a freeze blast and then change to stomp and immediately stomp the ground and shatter everyone that you just froze. So there's a really great mix and flow and dynamic to the superpowers.
Is there any cooldown for the powers?
Yeah, there's a cooldown for each of the powers, which is all upgradable, so you can get, initially they'll start out with a relatively long cooldown, and then you'll upgrade that over the course of the game to get stronger and stronger. Each power has its own cooldown because we wanted you to mix and match them. We didn't want it to be like, oh, I fired a freeze blast, so now I can't do anything with superpowers for the next 30 seconds. We wanted you to feel powerful in that Saints Row way where, we just want the game to be fun for players. We don't want it to be overly burdensome to be a superhero. We want it to be badass to be a superhero.
And with the powers, do you gradually unlock them over time, or do you have full access from the very start?
You get them over the course of the game. There's some that are in the critical path through the narrative that you'll get, and then there's I think twice as many that you can get in the open world. So if you just go out into the city and do optional quests and complete optional gameplay, you're going to get even more superpowers that are more powerful than the ones you get by default.
Achievements. I can imagine you guys have had some fun, right?
There's some really good achievements. There's definitely one that I had to tell the designer who came up with it. I told him, like, you need to show this to me in game and prove that you can actually do this, because I didn't believe he could. But he did. Somehow it was a little tricky how he did it, but he made it happen. And so there's some really there's some great ones where it's just play the game, you'll get a lot of achievements. That's like, for me personally, a be nice to the player sort of mentality of like, players that play through the campaign, they should get a lot of achievement points just for playing through the campaign. But then we also got the really hardcore stuff of like, get 100% or do some really crazy things with your superpowers. So there's a good mix.
Is there any co-op at all in it?
Yes, yeah, there's absolutely the same. I think what is top in the class for open world games, drop in, drop out through the entire campaign. Any progress you make locally or when you're playing with someone else is carried forward, so you're never losing any progress. So yeah, that's definitely the best way to play Saints Row 4 is with a buddy. And there's even some specific co-op modes like Death Tag and Cat and Mouse, which are similar modes we've had in past games. And they're both about, Cat and Mouse is about one player gets a weak vehicle, one player gets a strong vehicle, and then they chase each other and try to kill each other and switch places. And then Death Tag is you each get a set of superpowers and are told to fight. And just duke it out and kill each other as many times as you can. So it's a lot of fun.
I was going to say with the superpowers, is there like a level of destruction around the city?
Yes. Well, with telekinesis, everything is ammo. So if if there's a car or if there's a mailbox or a person, you can pick them up and toss them at an enemy, and it's just a blast. So yeah, the city really gets destroyed. We've even got great new weapons like the black hole gun, which fires out a little singularity that sucks in everything nearby. So when you do that on a crowded street, like everything from all around comes swirling around and gets sucks in and then blows up. That's fantastic.
Well, with the game obviously so close to release and everything like that, I mean, have you guys reflected on the development process, obviously with what happened to THQ and everything like that? I mean, how are you guys feeling about that now? We lost some good friends who no longer we no longer work with, which is too bad. There were some studios that didn't get bought up, like Vigil, which we're disappointed for those guys. For us, we were relatively confident at Volition because of Saints Row and because how successful it had been that we were going to get picked up. It was just a question of who and how much they might want to come in and try and change things. So it was really a big relief when Deep Silver came in and said, like, we're not here to change any of your creative policies. We don't want you to reorder your studio. You guys know how to make this. Just go and make it. So for most people at the team, it was just a matter of like your paycheck changes to Deep Silver now, and beyond that, just keep making the game. So it's been really good. And what about what's the idea for the Amiga future for you guys? I mean, certainly, well, firstly with Saints Row 4, are you guys considering DLC post-launch? I mean, what's the plan?
There will definitely be DLC. Specific plans we're not really going into yet, but yeah, we've definitely got some DLC planned.
And how about yourselves with Saints Row 4 finally out and released? I mean, is this vacation time for you guys before you decide what you want to do next?
Yeah, very soon we're all taking some vacation. People are starting to take some time off now. The 4th of July for us in the next couple weeks will be a big holiday because we're submitting and pretty soon. So yeah, we're all going to take a big sigh of relief, come back fresh, and then we'll figure out what's happening.
Listen, thanks very much for talking to us. Very much look forward to playing.
Absolutely. Thank you.